guys, I'm making this video just to show you guys how to make the long sleeve of this. So I've made the short one, so I'm going to be using the clip of the video of how to make the short one to make this long sleeve one. So at this point, I'll be showing you guys how to make this crop top with square neckline. So for that you might need about 1.5 yards of fabric or 1 or 2 yards of fabric, it depends. So the first thing I'm going to do is to open up the fabric. So guys, the first thing I did is to cut out the fabric I'll be using. So as you can see, I have 2 of them here, one for my back panel, one for my front panel, and both are folded into 2. So this is it here. So the next thing, the length, because normally, let's say this is my fabric here, and then my shoulder is starting somewhere here, right? And then I have my armhole, have my neckline, but this is supposed to be like an off shoulder. This is supposed to be an off shoulder, right? Normally this is what would be your bodice, but this is an off shoulder, so the top is starting at 7. So from my shoulder to this point, this is where my top is starting at 7. So the length I want for this is about 17.5, but I added 1.5 to it for my seam allowance, so that's why I have 19 here. So the next thing I'm going, because it's supposed to be a crop top, right? So that's why I'm using that length. So the next thing I have here is you're going to measure your round the bust, and then you're going to add 12 inches to it. So the 12 inches is just for all the seam allowances you would need for this top. So remember, I measured myself and I have 42 for my round the bust measurement. I added 12 to it. That's 54, and then I divided it by 4. So what I have to work with is 13.5. So that's why I have 13.5 here, you see, and I have 2 of it. You see, this is folded into 2, and then I cut it out 13.5 of width. The same thing for the one at the back. That's my back panel. So now we'll go into shaping this. So the next thing I have to do is to check the waist, right? So I have gotten what I need for the bust, because why we are using the bust first is because that's the widest part of this measurement. So now we'll go over to the waist. The waist I'm working with is 36 plus 12 again. That same 12, I got 48 and then divided it by 4. So what I'm working with is 48 divided by 4, that will give me 12. So I'm going to mark the 12 here and then connect this line all the way up, right? I've done this method several times. So I've cut out this. So this is just to shape it, because remember, your bust and your waist measurement are not the same. So after that, the next thing, so I'm going to separate the back. For now, I'll separate my back and the front. So this is my back panel, this is the front panel. I'm going to measure from one distance of one nipple to the other, that's the breast point. So what I have is 8 inches plus 1, that's 5 inches. So what I'm going to do now is to place back my tape at 7, mark my shoulder to breast point, which is, so after that I'll put my tape back here. So my shoulder to at this 7, so I'm measuring shoulder to breast point. For me, that's about 12. Then shoulder to under bust, that's 14, and then shoulder to waist, for me that's 17. So that's the 3 lines I have here: shoulder to breast point, shoulder to under bust, and then shoulder to waist. So from this waist I'm going to subtract. So guys, remember, the folded part is supposed to be, the center is supposed to be on the inside. You're marking this at the point where this folded fabric meets this side. So you see, this is the fold here. This is going to be your center, but you're marking all those things at this end here. This is where you're marking it. So what I'm going to do now is to subtract ½ an inch from the lower line, that's the waistline, subtract 0.75 from the middle line, which is the shoulder to under bust, and then I won't mark anything on the shoulder to breast point. From there, I'm just going to connect the line, connect this one all the way down, and then come up here, subtract 1 inch, come in by 1 inch here at this top here, and then connect it down to the breast point. So that's basically it. Right now, all I have to do is to cut it out. You see? So here, the next thing I have to do is to mark, come down from this armhole, because remember this top is starting at 7, so I'm going to just come down maybe by 2 inches more. That's at 9, somewhere here, and then I'm going to just connect this line all the way to this point here. See, connect that line here. This is just to give it a slanted shape coming down to the armhole, because you don't want this fabric poking you under the arm, so you need to come down a little bit, almost like the armhole. You see, normally my armhole should be somewhere at 10, but I just took it up a little bit, so I stopped at 9. My top is starting at 7, but I made my armhole, because if it's normal bodies like this, my armhole might come down to 10, but I just brought it up a little and stopped at 9 since it's going to be a tube top. So I'm going to cut this out, and then with this same slant that I have here, I'm going to take it over to the back bodice. Remember, this is the back bodice, and remember we gave it this shape at this side when we were shaping the waist. So make sure you place everything in order, and then you're going to mark, because remember the two sides are going to meet this, the two sides of the back will meet the two sides of the front. So you mark it down here and then keep it straight. You can cut that line. So I'm going to cut it here. So my back, your back is going to look like this rectangle, right? But I'm going to just cut this out to show you guys first. So this is the back. I've cut out this here. I've cut this out here. So this is the length of the back. I'm going to go ahead and open up this for my zip allowance, because remember this top is going to have a zip at the back. So that's basically it now. What I'm going to do is just go to the sewing machine, fold this fabric for the back. I'll start with the back, fold it into 2 like this, right? Fold the second one also into 2, and just make a straight dart all the way down. Make a straight dart here all the way down. Set it aside. Take my front, because I'm not going to be using lining on this. Take my front bodice, right? You see, I have one center. So this center bodice here, if you want, you can leave it just straight how it is, right? For the neckline. Because remember, one is going to come in here, and then, sorry, this one is going to be here, and then this one is going to be here. If you want, you can leave the center one here, but you know, people normally do put like a V, and then you have, this is how you now get, if you give it a V here, this is how you get your sweetheart neckline, right? But for me, what I'm just going to do is I don't want it just straight like this. I just want it to have a slight curve to it, not like a sweetheart, not like a sweetheart this way and then cut it out. I just want it to have some curve. So I might come down by maybe 0.75 inches, not up to 1 inch here, and then just curve it a little bit. Just curve it a little bit. It's still straight, but not really. So I'm just going to slide this out, right? Yeah, and that's basically it. So now this is what I have. You see, I have something like this. So what I have to do is just go to the sewing machine, take this, place it right side facing each other, close up this side, take this one here, right side facing each other, and then close up this side. That's the back, and then join the side of the back to the side of the front here. You see, join this side to this side, and then do it on the other side. After that, we'll come back and start up with the bias. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and put one side of the back. So basically, after joining the 3-piece, I used bias to finish this top part here, did the back separately, used bias to finish it up, then join it by the side. So this is one side is done. So the second side is what I'm about to do. I've gone ahead and just cut a strip of fabric about 1.5. So this is the bias here. I'm going to just use it to flip and finish up the edge, and then put it on the other side. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and joined the two sides. So this is one line on the side, the other line on the side. So just because I made mine crop doesn't mean you have to make yours crop. If you would prefer a longer length, then you can add a few more inches. All you have to do is just continue the dart all the way down. So this one. So at this point, I've gone ahead and made the body, because the body of the short sleeve and the long sleeve, they are the same. So this is the body I'm using for this long sleeve. So how you're going to cut this long sleeve is just cut out your fabric like the length you want to use, right? And then you're going to, so how you're going to measure it is, remember, let's say this is your shoulder, right? This is your hand, like this is the end of your shoulder. You're going to start from on top of your shoulder to measure down to your, down to your wrist or wherever you want the length to be. And then you're going to add your seam allowance 1 inch for folding the end, which is like this end that folded. So you're going to fold it just the way you normally hem your clothes. That's 1 inch for hemming the clothes. and then you're going to also add another like 1.5 for making the loop, elastic loop for the top here. And also remember, when you're trying to take the measurement, remember that once you add the elastic at the end here, it's going to shorten since it's a puffy sleeve. Once you put elastic here, it's going to scrunch the sleeve together. So you might also remember to add like 1 inch. So in total, you might be adding about 3.5 to the measurement you got, or maybe let's say just 3 inches to the measurement you got. So now this one here, I've gone ahead and made my loop for my elastic, and then I've also folded the end here. So what I'm going to do is just to mark out the length I want to use. So it depends on you from the end of your sleeve. So this is going to be the end of my sleeve, which is where my hem is, and this is the top part, which is where my loop for elastic is. You're going to measure, it depends on you, if you want maybe 3 inches down or 4 inches down, depending on how fluffy you want that end to be. So I'm going to use like maybe 3.5 inches from the end of the curve here, which is going to be, you get your elastic, measure your wrist, right? You're going to measure around your wrist, and you find out how much elastic that you need for that, and then you just cut it out. So let's say I need this much, so you're going to cut this out, and then you're going to place it this way, and then start sewing, and then pull the elastic as you go. So guys, I've gone ahead and finished up one sleeve, so I'm going to show you guys with this second sleeve. So this is the elastic I'm using. It's just exactly around my wrist, so this is what I'm using here. So what I'm going to do now is to take this elastic. Like I said before, I already know that I'm coming down 4 inches from the end of my hem here. So this is the line I'm using. This is 4 inches line here. So you're going to just draw the straight line all the way, and then you're going to go to your sewing machine. Another thing you will do is, before that, so that you can be able to distribute the girder perfectly, you're going to mark halfway. Fold your fabric this way, mark halfway. So I know that my halfway is somewhere here. I'm going to mark it here, and then I'm going to get my elastic, also fold it into two and mark the halfway of my elastic, which is here, so that when I go to sew, I'm just going to make sure that as I'm pulling it, I know that when I get to the halfway of this chalk here, I know that it's supposed to be somewhere here. Another thing you can do is just get your pin and pin this part down, and know that, okay, you can start from the center, pull the end here down to this part, and then pull the other end here down to this part. Good. So guys, I've gone ahead and finished this side. So basically what I did is, you see the way this is here. So all you have to do is, remember you made a loop at the top, and then you just hem the end, right? So the part where you made the loop is where you're passing your elastic. So I just passed my elastic and just made a stitch on it to hold it down, and then to hold it down on this end. So now I have an elastic inside of this here. So what I'll do now is to take this the way it is now. So this is my side seam, right? I'm going to open up my side seam this way. And what I'm going to do, this is my side seam. Let me show you guys. So this is my side seam here. I'm going to just, the way it is now, I'm going to take my sleeve now, close up this end, and leave up to about 4 or 5 inches here. So guys, I've gone ahead and closed it up now. So what I'm going to do now, you see the way it is here, I'm going to take it now, and I'm going to join it to this. You see why I said to pass the elastic and just tack it down, because if you sew this down, it will be hard to put the elastic after. So what you're going to do is, when you make the stitch, try to double stitch at this end, and then you're going to just open it up like in a straight line, so that it will fall in place with this one. And then you're going to take this part that is the middle of your seam, you're going to place it right underneath here, and then you're going to spread this part out, right? You're going to, you see, this is my sleeve here. This is the space that is in between, right? I'm just going to spread it apart now, and then put it at the exact part where I have my side seam, and then I'm going to just make a stitch all the way down, right? Make a stitch all the way down, and you're going to fold this here. That same seam allowance that you came up with from the armhole, you're now just going to turn it around and just this way. You see, I'm just going to go ahead and make a stitch all the way down here and then continue all the way to the back. So that's what I'm going to do. So guys, this is it. I've gone ahead, spread it out and joined it here. So this is what it looks like. If you pull it back now, this is what it will look like. So it's giving you the square neck. So you see, this is it here. So now at this point, you go ahead and close up the back. Maybe come down by 2 inches at your back here. And now your zip, you're going to put in your zip. And remember, your zip is going to be facing down. You know, normally when we put the zip, you make it face up to your neck. But because this is going to be, the bottom here is going to be fitted and cropped. So you have to make it face down so that you can be able to wear it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go ahead and put my zip in. And then after, you're going to fold the end and then put your zip in. And that's basically it. So I'll go ahead and finish up mine. So this is what this end of the sleeve. This is basically to show you guys this sleeve here and like this long sleeve here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.